The Chakralytics Show.
Namaste. Would you like to know what you may expect when you're doing inner work and when you're going through a transformational process and where you're starting to face your own demons and going to work on your trauma? In this video, I would like to share my perspective on this, and based on over a decade of doing deep inner work, of going through a self-alignment process. And I would like to share it in all honesty and a clear reflection on what you might expect. So, first of all, I would like to go a bit into the nature of human experience in that sense, that 80%, I said before, of what we do might be unconscious, through unconscious beliefs, unconscious patterns, experiences from the past, on a sort of automatic pilot, and all other systems that work within the body going unconsciously. And I even saw from some researches, I saw up to 95% of most people, they go unconsciously of what's going on. When we start doing inner work, we are going to dive into what is being hidden in our unconscious. So we're going into these hidden patterns of how we do things, and often we have some belief systems in place, and when we work on those belief systems, it's like we open up layers, and underneath those belief systems there often are strong emotions like fears or resentment or hurt from the past, and we had those belief systems in place to keep that emotion encapsulated like that. And when we start doing inner work, it opens up, and then we can experience this hurt, and we can experience these deep emotions, these intense emotions. But when we go to these emotions, instead of trying to push it away, or we don't want it to be there, we're going towards it, and we're going to experience the emotion and meet it from a place of unconditional love and unconditional acceptance. I've spoken about this in many videos before about trauma healing and meeting symptoms, and about withdrawal. So what I believe is the one of the important aspects of that we are able to do this work is to be able to sit in a position of witness state. So to have a perception that we can see our thoughts and emotions and not being carried away by them, that we can sit in that, we could say, a mindfulness state, in that place where we can see our emotions, see our thoughts, but not necessarily being pulled by them. And I think this is very important when we're doing inner work and we're going through this transformational process. Why is this the case? Because I feel what I have experienced is that when we start doing this work, it may feel like it's an unfoldment process, and it comes in waves. And sometimes we might get triggered by some kind of experience, or we are going through a phase, or we're moving through to a new path in life or something, and things can trigger and things can come up, and it can set something in motion. It can feel like a gate is opening up, and instead of that we're pushing it down, I'm imagining like a balloon, a filled balloon with air. That are those unconscious belief systems and those fears and things, and we try to pull it underwater with force, and this gives that tension in our system, and once in a while it comes up and we're trying to pull it down again, push it down again. We don't want it to be there. Well, now what we're doing in this inner work, we are going to meet this balloon filled with these emotions and filled with these trauma experiences, perhaps, and these misaligned beliefs. So, in order to do this, I believe we have to be able to sit in that witness state, and also to have an understanding of self, an understanding of that these may be experiences and may have been experiences, but they don't necessarily have to define us, and that we can meet them and embrace them in unconditional love and acceptance. And by doing this, these experiences or the trauma that we have on it, the emotion that we have, can dissolve, and we can experience a lot more inner freedom. So these two aspects, and these may be practiced by, for example, meditation, withdrawal, and I've showed a practice of withdrawal in another video on withdrawal, and understanding self. What I found to be very helpful was studying the philosophy of Kashmir Shaivism, and they go very deep into consciousness and into our experiences and how they may affect us and how we can meet these, and they give a philosophy of how reality is, and it gave me a very beautiful feeling of understanding, I would say, of self-understanding and confidence in how to meet these contractions. A book I would recommend that is for a first read, if you want to dive into this Kashmir Shaivism, is Tantra Illuminated by Christopher Wallace, from which I experienced a lot of support. And okay, so these two things. And what can we then expect when we start to do this deep inner work and start to meet these experiences? And it might be a bit frightening to confront oneself and to dive into these experiences from the past. There is a reason that we're trying to keep it down and keep it away. So now the understanding is very deeply integrated, that we know that when we go through this, when we work through this, we may experience a lot more inner freedom from it. And the other side of it is when we're trying to push it down, it stays in our system, so it comes up every time we get triggered, every time in our experience we meet same kind of people, because it's like an energy print that we have, and it's a resonance. So the people we meet resonate with the old traumas, the old beliefs that we have with our current energy pattern. And by releasing this, we may expand our inner freedom, we may deepen our capacity of unconditional love and acceptance, and start meeting people and come into situations that align with this new energy print. Alright, so just to give an example of going through these phases, I won't be sugarcoating it. I will tell you my truthful perspective on this. What can happen is when we go through these phases, something can trigger us, and we go and meet these contractions and the things that come up. Instead of working hard to push it away, we're meeting it, we're letting it be, and we're going through it. We're gonna work through it. It may feel like a gate that is opening, and we start belief systems are coming up, and we notice that these belief systems aren't in line with our essence nature of unconditional love and acceptance, and we start working through these, and then experiences can come up, and intense emotions can come up, and we can see visuals like images. We can have, for example, intense dreams, like nightmare kind of dreams, or dreams where intense emotion is. And so for us, it is, from my perspective, it is for us to stay in that witness state and just meet what comes up, meet what comes up, and just let it stream and let it go, and not trying to attach to the content of these experiences, but also not pushing these away. Move through these emotions, sit with these emotions, sit with these experiences, these images. And this can take a few days, I would say. Sometimes it can, when it's small, it can take maybe I don't know, a little while, but it can take up to sometimes a few weeks. And that we're going through this phase, and that we feel these heightened emotions and these experience of emotions. And especially when we're going through a Kundalini awakening and a deep inner transformational process. And I don't want to put fear in people, but I want to make clear, because it is an elephant in the room, I think, especially for Kundalini awakening. It's often related with psychosis. There's often being warned for psychosis, for people who aren't well prepared on Kundalini awakening. They can experience neurological dysfunction, or they may experience psychosis and psychotic breaks. It's something that Christopher Wallace often warns for, I think. And I think these kind of periods, when we're opening these gates, these are periods to be especially focusing on this grounding in awareness, grounding in that witness state, because we may feel very intense emotions, and this is a vulnerable state. It may be a vulnerable state in that sense that it might be something, because there are things that are triggering us, that we can be pulled away by these thoughts, pulled away by these emotions. And that's what I perceive to be when someone may get into borderline of psychosis, when someone loses himself and gets pulled away by these strong emotions, or pulled away by these strong belief systems, or these misaligned thoughts, or and goes into this, gets carried away by this, and loses himself or herself in these thoughts and emotions. So that's why I address the importance of withdrawal, and having the capability, the understanding to be able to see these emotions, see these thoughts, and don't have to identify with them, and just meet them with unconditional love and unconditional acceptance. And a safe way, I feel, or what I perceive to be a safe way for doing this, is the ritual, Chakra Sādhana ritual, where we create a safe space for this with the intention of meeting these thought constructs. So it may put us in a state of of rest already. And I think once we're getting used to doing these practices, it becomes easier and easier not to get attached to the content of what is being displayed, and not getting carried away by these strong emotions and these strong feelings. And we know and we understand that it's part of the process, and that we can move through it, and that at some point a deeper sense of inner freedom arises, and we may start be grateful for this process of letting go, releasing. All right. Thank you. This was it for now. If you have any questions on this or reflections, I warmly invite you to share them in the comments below, or you may contact us through Databration or Chakralytics. And if you appreciate the content that we're creating, I warmly invite you to like and to subscribe. And bless you on your journey. Namaste.